Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Bexar County Court of Law number 6 and the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court plea and motion to revoke probation docket. Today I have on our plea docket cause 644-755 and 644-756, State of Texas versus Jaime Roberto Martinez, represented by Mr. Joseph Statson. I have cause 658-181, State of Texas versus Chad Krugel, represented by Mr. Douglas Kampmeyer. I have cause 647-967, State of Texas versus Amber Naranjo, represented by Mr. Miguel Hernandez. I have cause 645-141, State of Texas versus Richard Moreno, represented by Mr. Mark Darling. Cause 652-488, State of Texas versus Christopher Hernandez, represented by Mr. Jeffrey Hull. And cause 612208, State of Texas versus Christopher Collins, represented by Mr. Aldous Strouch. I have two motion to revoke probation hearings. One, cause 636162, State of Texas versus Ms. Christina Kunkel, represented by Mr. Todd Coronado. And cause 648210, State of Texas versus Jimmy Pena, represented by Ms. Suzanne Kramer. My understanding is Ms. Alexis O'Connor is going to be our Assistant Criminal District Attorney throughout all these hearings. And representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who I will swear at this time. Ms. Gross, please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give, is Susan here? I see her, okay. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you. Okay, and Pat, bring me up to speed. Do we have actual paperwork on Mr. Moreno?
No, we do not, Your Honor, and Mr. Darling is here, and I think it takes me.
Mr. Darling, have we got any feel for whether Mr. Moreno knows to be here today or not?
Well, Judge, I'm going to be honest with you, sir. I talked to him yesterday, and yeah, I mean, that's a silly thing to say, right? Well, I talked to him yesterday, and he acknowledged his obligation to be here. He agreed to the proposed plea bargain. He knew about this. I'm very frustrated with him, but I'd ask that as his attorney that you not issue a warrant.
Here's what we're going to do. What I would request of you at this time, try to call him again if you've got a cell phone number on him and see if he can join us today at some point in time.
Yes,
probably anytime in the next hour and a half is going to be fine. If he can't, if he's got a valid reason to not be here, we'll just reset you. If he doesn't have a valid reason, I got to issue an FTA warrant. Try to catch him today, and I'm going to give you till tomorrow morning to find him before I do bad things to him. Would that be okay?
Well, I appreciate you, Judge. Thank you, and I will.
Okay. And Ms. Benavides, I do not have final paperwork on Ms. Kunkel, I don't think.
I believe that they are in a breakout room. I'll go in, Your Honor, and Todd and her are there and get them out and see what they say.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start with Mr. Martinez's case.
Okay.
And you ready to proceed on this case?
I'm ready, Your Honor.
Okay. This is cause 644-755 and cause 644-756 is going to be TIC'd on this case, is my understanding ultimately.
Yes.
So, Mr. Martinez, I'm now looking at a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference that purports to have your signature and your attorney, at that point, Judge Joanne De Hoyo's signature on it. Is this your signature on this document, sir?
See.
Would that be yes? I didn't have my button pushed. I'm sorry. Okay. And also, Mr. Statson, can you identify Judge Joanne De Hoyo's signature as the primary attorney on this case, on this document?
Yes, that is her signature.
Thank you. The next document I have, Mr. Martinez, is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonition that purports to have your signature on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Mr. Martinez, is this your signature on this document also, sir?
See.
Thank you. By signing this document, are you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any questions about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorneys, so that in signing this document, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on this document. Is that correct, sir?
Correct.
And Mr. Statesman, as attorney for Mr. Martinez, have you and Judge DeHoyos had enough time to go over this case with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
Yes, we have gone over the case with him and we do believe he is mentally competent.
Mr. Martinez, are you a United States citizen, sir?
See,
Okay. And Mr. Statesman, can you confirm Mr. Martinez is a United States citizen? Is that correct?
I personally asked him and he told me, yes, he was.
Excellent. And Mr. Statesman, as attorney for Mr. Martinez, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
Yes, the state has.
Okay. Mr. Martinez, in cause 644-755 to the charge of evading detention, how do you plead, sir?
culpable.
Mr. Statesman, your paperwork says no contest. Do you wish to accept the plea of no contest or guilty on behalf of Mr. Martinez?
I had informed him to advise him to say no contest.
Well, court accepts the plea of no contest to the offense of evading detention. State, is there an agreement in this case?
1 day in the Bexar County Jail, $200 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, TIC cause number 644-756, and we ask this be a JSAT judge.
State, is that your understanding of the agreement?
That is our understanding.
Martinez, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of evading detention. I find you guilty. I assess 1 day in the Bexar County Jail, a $200 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, taking into consideration cause 644-756, which is granted, and it shall be dismissed. Judgment satisfied. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Martinez?
Nothing from the defense.
Let Mr. Martinez. Thank you, Mr. Statesman.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Okay, at this time, we're going to take up cause 658-181. You bet. Thank you so much for your help. We're going to take up cause 658-181, State of Texas versus Chad Philip Krugel. Cause 647-967, State of Texas versus Amber Elena Naranjo. Cause 652-488, Christopher Hernandez. And cause 612208, State of Texas versus Christopher Allen Collins. Mr. Katmeyer, are you ready to go forward on Mr. Krugel's plea at this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Hernandez, are you ready to go forward on Mr. Naranjo's plea at this time?
I am, Your Honor.
And Mr. Hole, are you ready to go forward on Mr. Hernandez's plea at this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Crouch, are you ready to go forward on Mr. Collins' plea at this time?
Yes, Judge, we are.
Thank you. All defendants and attorneys, at this time, I'm going to ask each of you whether or not these are your signatures on a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference. Mr. Krugel, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Katmeyer, as attorney for Mr. Krugel, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Naranjo, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Naranjo, I apologize. And Mr. Hernandez, is
That's
this
okay.
your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Hernandez, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Hole, as attorney for Mr. Hernandez, is this your signature also on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Collins, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Strouch, as attorney for Mr. Collins, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. The next document I'm going to ask you about your signature on is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions that have your signatures on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Mr. Krugel, is this your signature on this document in your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Naranjo, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Hernandez, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Collins, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir, it is.
Each of you, by signing this document, are you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any questions about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorneys, so that in signing these documents, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on these documents. Is that correct, Mr. Krugel?
I'm satisfied, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Ronho?
Yes.
Is that correct, Mr. Hernandez? Is
Yes, Your Honor.
that correct, Mr. Collins?
Yes, sir, it's correct.
Mr. Kappmeyer, the attorney for Mr. Krugel, have you had enough time to go over this case with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question, Mr. Hernandez, as attorney for Mr. Naranjo.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Hull, as attorney for Mr. Hernandez.
Yes, Your Honor.
For Mr. Strouch, as attorney for Mr. Collins.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Krugel, are you a United States citizen, sir?
Yes.
Same question for Mr. Naranjo.
Yes.
Same question for Mr. Hernandez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Collins.
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense counsel for Mr. Krugel, Mr. Kappmeyer, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
I believe so.
Same question for Mr. Hernandez, as attorney for Mr. Naranjo, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Hull, as attorney for Mr. Hernandez, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Strouch, as attorney for Mr. Collins, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
They have, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Krugel, on clause 658181 to the charge of burglary of vehicles. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Krugel?
12 months deferred adjudication, a probated $400 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, and an ATSE course.
And defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes.
State, is there any restitution in this case?
Not that was noted, Judge.
Mr. Krugel, in clause 658181, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the offense of burglary of vehicles. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt, place you on 1 year deferred adjudication probation. It says a $400 fine probating all of that plus court costs, 48 hours of community service, the ATSE anti-theft course, and that's basically it. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Krugel?
Oh, Your Honor.
All good? All right. Thank you very much. Y'all are dismissed. Thank you, Mr. Kappmeyer. Thank you, Mr.
Wait. Please don't go. Judge, if I can address anybody that's being granted probation today. You will be contacted within the next 48 hours, either via telephone, email, and they're going to set up your appointment. It'll either be done over Zoom or in person. That will be determined at the time that they contact you. Everybody grab a pencil and write down this phone number. In the event that you are not contacted by the probation department, it is your responsibility to contact them and inform them that you were placed on probation today and that you need to set up your orientation. That telephone number is going to be 210-335-7446. So if you don't hear anything from them by like Monday at noon, then you need to call the probation department at that number to let them know you were placed on probation today and you need an orientation time. Any questions? Anybody?
No, ma'am, thank you.
All right, good luck to anybody that's placed on probation today.
Okay, back on the record on 647-967, State of Texas versus Amber Elena Naranjo. Mr. Naranjo, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, ma'am?
Guilty.
No contest, is that correct, defense?
It is, Your Honor.
Court accepts the plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated. Is there an agreement for Mr. Naranjo?
6/12, $500 fine plus court costs, 24 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CAD SNP, Smart Start Mobile for half the term, and restitution, if any, to Richard Eskerka.
And Mr. Eskerska, his last name is spelled I as in India, S as in Sierra, K as in Kilo, E as in Echo, R as in Romeo, K as in Kilo, A as in Alpha. Is that correct?
Correct, Judge.
All right, defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Ronho, the court accepts your plea of no contest to defense of driving while intoxicated. First, I find you guilty. I said 6 months in the Bear County Jail, probated for 1 year, a $500 fine plus court costs, 24 hours of community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, outpatient drug, Smart Start mobile home interlock for 6 months, and restitution, if any, to Richard Iskirka, best I can do. And the defense, if it becomes necessary at some future point that Mr. Iskirka wants more money than you think is fair under the circumstances, we'll have a hearing on that. Fair enough?
I appreciate it, Your Honor.
Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Ronho?
I think.
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Ronho, do you know how to call probation if that becomes necessary? You think-
Yes.
Great. Y'all are excused. Thanks for your help.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
On the record on 652-488, that is Texas versus Christopher Hernandez. Mr. Hernandez, the offense of driving while intoxicated, second offense. How do you plead, sir? I'm sorry, I missed that. Did you plead something?
Guilty.
And is there an agreement for Mr. Hernandez?
1/1, a probated $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI intervention, DIP, CAT SNP, and Smart Start mobile for half the term.
Oh, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Hernandez, any cause 652-488, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the offense of driving while intoxicated, second offense. I find you guilty. I says 1 year in the Bear County Jail, probated for 1 year, a $500 fine, probating all of that, plus court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI intervention course, DWI victim impact panel, City Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, outpatient, and Smart Start mobile home interlock for 6 months. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Hernandez?
Further, Judge.
Nothing further, Judge.
Hernandez, you now have 2 DWI convictions. If you get rearrested and charged with the offense of driving while intoxicated, the next one is going to be a felony. So I suggest very strongly you look yourself in the mirror and make a decision not to drink and drive anymore. So best of luck on that.
Yes, sir, I am, Your Honor.
Okay, clause 612-208, Data Texas versus Christopher Allen Collins. Mr. Collins, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Agreement for Mr. Collins.
6/12, $500 fine plus court costs, 50 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CAT SNP, and Smart Start mobile for half the term.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Collins, in clause 612-208, the court accepts your plea, no contest, in defense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. I find you guilty. I said 6 months in the Bear County Jail, probated for 1 year, a $500 fine plus court costs, 50 hours of community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hang on, sir. Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program,
Yes,
outpatient
Your Honor.
course, and the Smart Start mobile home interlock for 6 months. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Collins?
Yes, Judge. I want to address you briefly there. I want to be certain, I'm here on behalf of Mr. Christopher Collins. Someone else from the jail kept speaking over him on, we do agree to it. That's our agreement. He had a warrant because there was an allegation of tampering with his ankle monitor. And I want to make sure that that warrant is recalled today with this plea. And I want to let the court know that he has tried to get in touch with his officer. It's been very difficult. He has not tampered with it. We can explain to the extent that you want to know, but I just want to make sure that he's able to now get that off and that the warrant will be recalled.
Theoretically, as you're well aware, the warrant should be recalled by operation of law. I will go ahead and specifically write it down on this plea to make sure if that didn't work, that it'll be specifically on his record, okay?
And I told him the same thing, that it should, as we resolve this case, be lifted, but some things aren't happening the way they used to.
I'll make sure it's on the computer, whether they read the computer or not, just to be seen. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Your Honor, Ms. Kunkel has signed her paperwork, so it should have gone to you to sign.
All right.
Can I be dismissed?
Anybody that was just doing pleas is dismissed.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir.
Waiting on Ms. Martinez, Lewis. Are you set for something today?
Judge, we've got that speedy trial motion today.
Ah, okay, good. Okay, Pat, I just sent Ms. Kunkel's paperwork to you, I guess.
As soon as I get it, Your Honor, I will send it to you. Got it.
And I would second the idea of not relying on the operational law to take care of those warrants.
Okay, good plan.
Judge, just to be sure, this motion for this hearing, or hearing for this motion, it wasn't set today, right? It was set a couple weeks ago, and we're here.
It was not set today. I asked, I emailed Mr. Martinez and I never got a response.
Okay, that's my misunderstanding. I thought it was set for today. Didn't we talk about that last week? Specifically setting it for this day?
Give you a couple of options on when you would like to have this, and then I'm out of the picture, so I don't know what happened. But it's stated, if you don't want to do it today, we can do it any other day.
No, Judge, I'm prepared. I just want to make sure I didn't miss it on my end of the docket.
No, I mean, if we need a week or something, that's fine. If not, I'm ready to go right now.
No, that's fine. I'm ready to go as well. And additionally, Judge, do we still have our bond hearing today?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Just want to make sure.
Bond hearing first, because that'll be quicker than the trial dismissal.
Okay,
Sure
but
thing.
we're doing the MTRs to get rid of the prisoners and then we can do this?
Yeah.
Thank
you. I think.
I sent you the paperwork here.
Okay, I'm gonna take a break and go get it off the computer in the other room. Stand by.
Mr. Martinez, I apologize, but I had asked the judge and then he asked me, because you were also set for yesterday in arraignment. So he asked me to send you a question, whether you wanted to postpone it, whether you were, and I didn't get anything back. So I apologize.
I'm sorry. I got hauled to federal court in Del Rio, and that kind of threw my whole day off.
And that's okay, because Nick said he was ready and
okay,
we can do it.
Okay, back on the record, cause 636162, State of Texas versus Christina Kunkel. Ms. Kunkel is represented by Mr. Todd Coronado. Mr. Coronado, are you ready to proceed at this time?
Ready, Your Honor.
Okay. First item is I need Ms. Kunkel and Mr. Coronado to identify signatures on a couple of documents. Ms. Kunkel, I'm looking at a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference that purports to have your signature and your attorney's signature on it. Is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Coronado, as attorney for Ms. Kunkel, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
The next document I have is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. And my copy is not marked, but it should be marked. Hang on. Is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has the right to appeal the court's actions revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. Is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Coronado, as attorney for Ms. Kunkel, is this your signature also on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
And it's going to be this, please make sure administratively that that particular paragraph is marked. It is not marked on my document for whatever reason.
Yes, Your Honor, I will call the court and tell them.
And let's see, we once again representing the state is Ms. Alexis O'Connor, representing the Bexar County Probation Department. CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who I remind is still under oath. And Ms. Coronado, my understanding is this is an uncontested motion to revoke community supervision. Is that correct?
Correct.
And Ms. Kunkel, in cause 636162 on the first amended motion to revoke community supervision, how do you plead, ma'am?
Could you please straight with the explanation, Your Honor?
Fair enough. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Ms. Kunkel's probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Kunkel has performed very poorly on probation in that when she was granted, she was allowed to transfer and reside in Austin, and her probation was going to be transferred up there. She was instructed to report by mail until contacted by them, and she never ever mailed in a report by mail form. She has made no effort to make any payments, has a balance of $1,025 and is delinquent $404. We have no evidence of any of her 36 hours of community service having been completed. She was on Smart Start for a brief time, testing 4 times a day. During that time period, she skipped 18 times, and she's been in lockout since March 4th of 2021. She has no drug tests on file. We have no proof of enrollment or completion of DWI education, victim impact panel, or the CAT-SNP program or equivalent. She has no criminal history. She originally had a fine of $300. Her officer is recommending that her probation be extended for a period of 1 year and that she go to the substance abuse treatment facility here in San Antonio.
Okay, Ms. Kunkel, let me sort of translate what the probation department is talking about. In Bexar County, we have what's called a substance abuse treatment facility, which is an inpatient rehabilitation program with a minimum time there of 120 days, and I think probably a maximum time of 180 days. Susan, does that sound right?
Yes, Your Honor.
But it is an inpatient facility where you cannot leave. That is an option at this time. That's what the state is recommending. I'm going to ask Mr. Coronado for permission to ask Ms. Kunkel if she's interested in doing that or not.
Your Honor, I have spoken to my client about that. By way of background, when she was first placed on probation in January, and she'll tell you, and she does want to address the court as well, that she was in a bad place at the time. She made some mistakes, and the last 30 days, or before she got brought to Bexar County on the warrant, she was in a facility in Travis County that's called a new entry. She was in there for 30 days voluntarily, turned herself in, and then she left only because she was told that she has a warrant in Bexar County. I spoke to a friend of hers, Ismael Lozano, yesterday, and he was telling me also that when she found out she had a warrant in Bexar County, they took off. He brought her down here, and she went straight to Bexar County Jail last Tuesday. So she's been in for about a week. And as I say, she would like to address the court as well. We're hoping that you continue on probation and to hold the SATA in abeyance. And she would like to address the court. And she has also written a letter to you for you as well.
Okay, Ms. Kunkel, we're happy to hear from you. Let me tell you specifically for me what I would like to know about. They are alleging that you were allowed to report by mail, which is kind of a privilege to begin with. And they say you did not report by mail in a normal fashion, if at all. And then they say you missed 18 breath tests on the Smart Start mobile device between February 2nd and March 2nd, 2021. And that was probably at 4 blows a day, if I were guessing.
Yes.
And what else? Let's see. Basically, you did nothing, is what they're telling me. So, would you clarify for all of us? I mean, I think your attorney clearly explained you volunteered at one point. I guess did 30 days inpatient. Is that correct? That sounds at the new entry program. And was that a facility where when you volunteered to go in there, they wouldn't let you leave, or could you have left at any time if you wanted to? You just didn't leave.
No, sir. It was a locked-in facility.
And who paid for that? Your parents, or do you have insurance?
Through my Medicaid.
It was what now? I'm sorry.
I have. It was through Integral Care. It was a grant that they. Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to let you know during that time I was homeless, so that's why I had some, made a lot of mistakes because of that situation I was in, and other incidences that have prevented me. But if you would like, may I be able to read the letter that I wrote to you, sir?
I do not have a letter that I'm aware of. Here's our problem during the pandemic. If you send a letter, it goes to the court. The court puts it in the file, and I don't have access to the file.
Well,
at this time, just tell me your letter. I'll be happy to listen to you as long as you want to tell it.
Okay. Yes, sir. Your Honor, during my stay in rehab that I voluntarily was staying at before I turned myself into the San Antonio jail, I have learned a lot about myself during my time focusing on getting not only healthy from the alcohol addiction, but also how mentally strong I have become due to it. I was also clean when I walked in the rehab facility, may I also add. I apologize for not doing my probation accordingly in the past, but with your blessing, I pray you acknowledge the efforts I have been making and allow me to continue to move forward and to be able to get a job and the opportunity for my children to see their mother they have been missing. This stay has shown me a lot and made me realize I have so much worth fighting for, and it started with me doing the right thing, Your Honor.
What did you learn in this facility in Austin, the new entry program? What did they teach you that you didn't know before you went to them?
Honestly, I didn't realize the consequences, Your Honor. And now I have realized that this is what happens when you don't do the right thing and when you don't follow, the rules, and that is what I've learned.
And I believe I've been provided with information by our probation department that even though this motion to revoke probation was filed, you still didn't report by mail. And when you got out of the facility in Austin, and obviously I don't have those dates in front of me, did you try to contact your probation officer or make any effort to do anything to let them know where you were and what you were doing?
Yes, sir. A few weeks ago, like I said, I was homeless during all the probation time, but I did try to. I've left voicemails with the probation office, and then I finally recollected my probation officer's name during my time at a new entry and got a hold of her then, which is when she informed me about my warrant.
And how were you arrested on this MTR warrant? Did you turn yourself in, or did they stop you at a traffic light, or what happened?
I turned myself in, Your Honor.
Ms. Coronado, is that true? That's very unusual if it is.
No, I heard the same thing from her friend that I talked to yesterday. He drove her down from Travis County from a new entry, and once they found out that she had a warrant, they came straight to Bexar County Jail.
Okay, Ms. Coronado, what are y'all requesting at this time?
Continue on probation and just to hold the SAT up in abeyance. She understands that if she messes up any dirty UA, alcohol, whatever, that she knows that she's going to either have to go to the SAT up for 120, 180 days or to jail up to 180 days. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, state recommendation?
Judge, I agree with defense on this one.
Let me make sure it's crystal clear in my mind. Ms. Kunkel is not willing to volunteer to go to SAT. Is that correct?
Yes.
I want to make clear where I'm coming from. I have two options right now. If you're willing to go to inpatient for 120 days, which is the minimum time I can send you there, I'm going to let you stay on probation, and you'll volunteer to do that, and then you'll do that. And if you do well there, that may well have a great effect on your life. 30 days in rehab is not enough time to actually change the way you think about the use of alcohol. My other option is jail. So those are my two options. Do y'all want to go into a breakout room and chat, Ms. Coronado, about those two options? I'll keep her on probation just like you're asking for, but she needs to go to inpatient just like CSCD recommends.
I believe my understanding from her was that a new entry, if she's released, she can go back to a new entry in Travis County, because she left only because she found out about the warrant.
I have no control over new entry in Travis County. Okay, I can't order them to do anything. They don't have to tell me if she's there or if she leaves. I don't have any ability to do that. So the only ability I have on inpatient is through SATA. And all I need to know from you guys is real simple. If she's willing to volunteer to go to SATA, I mean, I have the right to order her there whether she wants to go or not, but if she's not going to pay attention, what difference does it make? So she can either volunteer for SATA right now and I'll keep her on probation, or I'm just going to revoke her and I'm going to send her to jail where she is now. And there won't be much transition on that one. Y'all want to go to the breakout room and chat?
Yes, please.
That, Pat, if you would, please.
Todd, I believe y'all can go back into one. I don't need to put you, you just go back. You can join. Ms. Kunkel, I think you should be able to go back into one.
I'm not sure how to do that.
Maybe there may be a button. Let me see if I can do it.
Okay.
All right, go to one. There you go. Mr. Moreno has signed his paperwork, Your Honor. Ms. Kunkel, try to go to one. Let me see.
Okay.
See if you can join. All right, let me see if I can pull. There you go. Okay.
I got other papers in here also. I don't think you're the ones that you need.
Okay, completed Mr. Moreno's paperwork, hopefully.
Okay, I will send it to you as soon as I get it, Your Honor. Go ahead.
And were they both able to get into the chat room?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, we've got cause 648210, State of Texas versus Jimmy Joe Pena, represented by Ms. Suzanne Kramer. Ms. Kramer, are you and your cats ready to go forward at this time?
Did you see that? I only knew she ran across my keyboard because I was texting somebody when I heard all the noise. Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Ms. Pena, the first couple of documents I need you to identify your signature on. The first one's entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mrs. Kramer, as attorney for Mr. Pena, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. The next document I'm looking at is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked quote, the revocation of the defendant's
I didn't hear a word.
Judge, I didn't hear a word you said. None of that.
Neither did I.
Mr. Pena, keep muted until he asks you a question. Okay, just hold on because we hear background. Go ahead, Judge.
All right, this document is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has a right to appeal the court's actions revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. Mr. Pena, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
And Ms. Kramer, as attorney for Mr. Pena, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, once again, our CSCD representative is Supervisor Ms. Susan Gross, who I remind is still under oath, and representing the state is Ms. Alexis O'Connor. My understanding, Ms. Kramer, is this is an uncontested motion to revoke community supervision. Is that accurate?
That is correct, Judge.
Mr. Pena, in clause 648210, on the motion to revoke community supervision, how do you plead, sir?
Judge, he's going to plead true to the community supervision. I mean, the community service, which I think, Alexis, was that number 14?
I'm not 100% sure.
Actually, I've got it in front of me.
It's number 14, Suzanne.
Okay, number 14, and Alexis agreed to waive the rest if he pled true to number 14.
All right, fair enough. Court accepts a plea of true to number 14 with an explanation. And
Yes, Judge.
Ms. Gross, would you please advise the defendant and the court and the parties what the status is of Mr. Pena's probation at this time?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Pena has been reporting as directed. We last visited him in jail on May the 6th of 2021. He has paid $94 towards his fees, has a balance of $787, and is delinquent $256. We have no record of any of his 24 hours community service having been completed. He failed to submit to drug testing on one occasion. He did complete his AIDS awareness class. He has a new possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 to 4 grams, awaiting indictment at this time. His arrest history includes aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 2 charges, evading arrest, criminal mischief, 50 to 500, unlawful carrying, theft, 50 to 500, possession, manufacture of a criminal instrument, retail, theft, 1,500 to 20,000, theft, 50 to 500, 3 charges, theft under 1,500, enhanced, evading arrest, possession of controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram, evading detention, theft under 1,500, enhanced, times 2, possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram, assault, bodily injury of a public servant, possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram, times 3, and then the new case, which is pending.
And Judge, just so you know, a lot of those he was sentenced on, but a lot of those are closed. So
I'm not
a lot of
finished,
them were.
Suzanne.
Pardon me.
I'm not
Well, I know. I mean, it just goes on and on, you know. But I mean, a lot of them were dismissed, and a lot of them were not. So
7 of those were convictions, and 6 of them were sentences to TDC. The probation department is recommending revocation.
And Ms. Kramer, is my understanding that the state has waived the allegation of a new offense, so obviously I'm not going to consider that.
yes, and I'm not his lawyer on that anyway. Raimundo Aliman is, so I don't even know the facts of that case to be able to let the court know. But yes, we've just agreed to go forward on the community service. And if you're ready for my spiel, let me know. Okay. So yes, and I talked to Mr. Pena about the criminal history is not good and picking up the new offense is not good. But, you know, for all I know, the case could be a really bad case for the state. I just have not been able to look at the facts of it. But he did not, while he was on this probation, he got put on January 13th of this year. He did not ever test positive. He is being monitored by CPS. Because both he and his wife were in the methadone program, and so they don't let you have your children when you're taking methadone. He completed that and is off the methadone, but he was doing frequent UAs through CPS and didn't ever test negative. Now, I mean positive. Now, I don't have any way to prove that. But he basically was reporting, and he was not testing positive on any of his UAs in your probation. You know, I know that it looks bad. He picked up this new offense, Judge, but, you know, he did try to pay a little bit. And I just was kind of, you know, I know that he wants to be continued. What Alexis and I talked about, because he's got 9 actual days, is just revoking him, keeping his record clean, obviously, is not an issue. and giving him a JSAT. He is on bond on that felony, so he would be able to get out of jail if you're amenable to that. If you want to slam him down for 6 months in the Bear County Jail, then I would ask maybe if you would take him off deferred and put him on regular probation, although, you know, I think it's difficult for him. And he also, and he's wanting to say something, Judge, but before I remembered one other thing. The MTR, although they waived it, said that he wasn't, didn't let them know of him getting arrested. And I know that they waived it, but he did say that he was trying to email his PO for quite a while, but he wasn't ever able to get through, or they didn't ever connect, but he was trying to communicate. Now, I don't know what he wants to say, Judge, so.
Let me hold short just there. Susan, I have a question for probation. How many actual drug tests did Mr. Pena submit to?
0.
Oh, well then there that is. I just knew that I saw no positives and one failure to submit.
All right. With Ms. Kramer's permission, Mr. Pena, did you want to address the court?
Yes, I did, sir, Your Honor. Real quick, like I said, like I told my attorney, me and my wife were on CPS and we're just like, we're homeless at the time, but Sam Ministry just got us an apartment for a whole year, all bills paid, and we're still on CPS. So we go to the CPS headquarters over there on Military and Goliad every Friday to go see our sons, our both sons. And what's it called? Yes, for the probation that I'm on, I didn't really understand that I had to go do drug tests. So that one UA that they sent me to, I didn't go to it because I did not understand I had to do a UA. It was just one UA they sent me to, and I failed to do that because I mean, a prostitution has nothing to, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, I tried. My wife.
Mr. Pena, let me interrupt real quick. What he was explaining to me, Judge, so you could understand it better, was what frequently we get on these types of cases where they get a ticket at the time and then the prostitution case gets filed at large later. So he thought, and he, you know, and I have to explain this quite frequently to my clients charged with this, that it was just a ticket and he didn't understand where he had to do drug testing, and he was already doing drug testing through CPS. So he didn't think it was that big. He didn't understand it.
Judge, if I may, it is very clearly and explicitly explained at the time they are read their conditions of probation that they will be drug tested every single month and that they've got to pay for it. So I'm sorry, Suzanne. He was well aware of it. He signed his conditions.
He got put on probation though in January, and y'all didn't test him at all until April. So I can see him thinking, well, it's not that big a deal. They haven't been testing me. I mean, I can see talking to him, and I kind of talked to Alexis about this too, where he might have that misunderstanding.
Okay, anything further from the defense?
No, Judge.
Real quick, Judge, sorry to interrupt you. Just to tell you, me and my wife, we already got our own apartment. So we're just already, you know, like I said, we got it approved from Sam Ministries for a whole year. Now, like I said, we're just continuing the CPS every Friday till we get our, hopefully, I guess like they say within the next 2 months, hopefully we get our kids back.
And if you didn't understand him, Judge, I know it's hard to understand him. They've gotten approval for an apartment, all bills paid for a year through Sam Ministry. CPS helped them set that up. If he goes to jail for 6 months, of course, he loses that. And he is being monitored by CPS, parenting classes and drug testing. So, I mean, if I could verify that, I can't right now, but.
Before I ask for the state's recommendation, is Mr. Pena interested in going to SATA for 120 days? He has an extensive drug history, and that seemed to be a puzzle piece that might fit if he wants to stay on probation.
I don't think so, Judge, because number one, I don't think he's been coming up positive with CPS, but of course I can't swear to that. But I mean, that would be just the same thing as if you sent him to jail, because he'll still lose this housing that he got through Sam Ministries either way.
Okay, state recommendation?
Revoking JSAT, Judge. He's got 9 days in.
About 648-210. Court accepts for plea of accrued at Division 14 on the motion to revoke community supervision. I grant the state's motion to revoke your community supervision. I sentence you to 90 days in the Bear County Jail. Susan, what was the underlying fine amount on this case? Microphone is off, Sue.
$200.
$200 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Pena? And Suzanne, your microphone is off.
Yeah, no, Judge. If I could have a breakout room so I could explain,
Sure.
because he's not going to understand that with him. Yeah, thank you, Judge.
And Judge, how many days was that? 90?
90.
Thank you.
All right, Susan, let me put you, Suzanne, y'all were in before,
Oh, hell, I don't remember. This.
and I'll put him in 4.
Yeah, I was in 4. Yeah. Okay.
I'll put him in 4. Okay, Mr. Pena, go into the breakout room. There you go. Mr. Darling, your defendant has not signed in. He has signed paperwork though.
Yes, and I just talked to, he just called me and he told me that he needs to download the Zoom app again. So I told him to do that real quick.
Okay.
So he's making efforts.
Okay. Your Honor, the paperwork is sent to you on Mr. Moreno.
Let's see what we do here. Can I minimize a Zoom screen and it'll come back, or will it cut me off?
No, you can minimize it, Your Honor.
I minimize it.
Okay. You can't find it?
I've got it. Now I've got to download it and then I've got to print it. So I'm going through the motion.
Okay.
Now it's working.
Todd and Ms. Kunkel are back.
Okay, Pat back.
I'm here.
We ready to proceed on Mr. Moreno's case?
Mr. Moreno has not checked in, Your Honor,
Okay.
but Todd is back with Miss Kunkel.
All right, we've got the paperwork ready for Mr. Moreno if, as, and when he comes back.
He shows up. Yes, Your Honor.
And back on the record, I call 36162, State of Texas versus Christina Kunkel. And may the record reflect that defense counsel and Ms. Kunkel went into a chat room so they could discuss whether or not she was willing to volunteer for inpatient treatment at the Bexar County Substance Abuse Treatment Facility. And Mr. Coronado, what did y'all come up with?
Your Honor, first of all, she just wants me to re-emphasize to you that she really wants to be continued on probation and to hold SADF in abeyance is what she really wants. She's really looking forward to getting out as soon as she can, out of jail as soon as she can, back home to her kids. And she's going to stay clean. She understands. I just went over everything with her as far as any dirty UA for anything. It's either SADF for 180 days or it's jail for 180 days. She understands that. She knows that. And she just wants to emphasize to you again that she was clean when she went into a new entry, more than a month ago. She had been staying clean. So she just wants to prove to you by being tested on the outside on probation that she can stay clean. Is that right, Christina?
Yes.
And Ms. Gross, once again, the underlying fine amount for Ms. Kunkel's case is $300. Does that sound right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Kunkel, on cause 636162, the court accepts her plea of true to all conditions on the motion to revoke community supervision. I grant the state's motion to revoke your community supervision. I sentence you to 90 days in the Bexar County Jail, assessing a $300 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. Kunkel?
I'd just like to get back into the breakout room with my client to explain to her what you did.
I gave her 90 days credit for volunteering to go for 30 days to inpatient. So she get, it could have been 100 days. And because I know you're going to clarify for her exactly what is in her best interest and stuff back there, she gets half the sentence that I could have given her. So there you go.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to move y'all to room 3.
And then may I be excused after this? All right. Thanks. To where?
All right, go into room 3. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
And have we heard from Mr. Gomez? No, Gomez was the.
Not Mr. Moreno is the one that is waiting to sign in. The other defendant is that motion to modify conditions. You told him 3:30.
Okay, all good. That's
yes, sir.
His name is Victor Gomez, and the defendant's name is Zach Paul Lopez. Munoz Lopez. Does that sound right?
Yes, Your Honor. And you told him 3:30.
All right, great.
Your Honor, since we're waiting, I'm going to take us off YouTube